Welcome to the WION podcast, where we explore fascinating stories and ideas from various fields. In this episode, we explore how tensions in the Middle East caused oil prices to jump 10% as Iran threatened to set fire to ships passing through the crucial Strait of Hormuz. As the conflict intensifies, the impact on global oil markets is becoming impossible to ignore. Oil prices have surged for the third day straight, as the US-Israel offensive on Iran has widened. One of the biggest threats of any conflict involving Iran was the spillover of the tension on the shipping route, the Strait of Hormuz, which carries 1/5 of the global oil supply. The price of oil has reached $81 per barrel, and the world is certainly waiting for it to reach at least $200. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Our heroes in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy and the Army will set fire to any ships that wish to pass through this strait, said the IRGC advisor, General Ibrahim Jabari, on state TV. The cumulative jump in crude oil prices was by at least 10% following the US-Israel attacks on the Islamic Republic. Brent futures was trading at $79.85 per barrel, up by 2.78%. WTI futures were trading at $73.15 per barrel, up by 2.70%. Murban futures were trading at $80.41 per barrel, up by 2.37% from Monday. Brent briefly touched $82.37 per barrel on Monday, then retreated before the market closed. Spot prices have also seen a cumulative jump of 10% since the pre-conflict period, with Brent at $77.82 per barrel for Brent, WTI spot at $70.90 per barrel, and Murban spot at around $79 per barrel. The surge in oil prices was apparent in US gas stations, as the US had an average price of gasoline that topped $3 per gallon for the first time since November. Gasoline is being sold at $3.052 per gallon, up by 11.1 cents, and diesel is being sold at $3,812 per gallon. The US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said on Monday that they have a phased plan in place to tackle the spike in oil prices. "We anticipated this could be an issue, and Secretary Wright and Bessent will begin to roll out those steps starting tomorrow to mitigate against the impact that could have," said Marco Rubio, referring to Energy Secretary Chris Wright and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. However, analysts predict a further surge in the volatility, as there is no proper plan in place for de-escalation in the region. The Strait of Hormuz remains technically open but functionally closed. "Traffic is down at least 80%, said Michelle Bachmann, a senior maritime intelligence analyst at Windward. Most commercial operators have withdrawn from the site, and insurance premium have reached 6-year high. This could impact the Gulf countries, and specifically Southeast Asian countries, China, India, Japan, South Korea, and Europe, as some 30% of Europe's supply of jet fuel passes through the lane. The US seems immune at the beginning with the rising cost, as it likely helps the US producers. Ships are compelled to reroute, and longer routes cost more in transport and insurance. A prolonged conflict might encourage South Asian countries to look at other producers in Russia. However, market analysts predict that Iran's attack on the shipping route might just work against them, as it will draw the Gulf nations into the war and might make boots on the ground feasible for the US. Thanks for tuning into this incredible story. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more captivating stories to come. Stay tuned.